So we've all grown up a little bit from when
Yeah, can we go like this and stop pouncing around?
we played one.
What's on your video? Okay.
Now, in case any of you are getting a bit nervous, you get yours later, it's okay.
Who are you?
Hello, Mrs. Pettifer.
Well done. You did that well. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody who is here tonight. My family, my new family, wonderful. Lots of friends, old friends and new friends. I'm glad to see you here. You know, some have come a long way. Some have come from New York, come from Wales. Some even came from Tasmania. The one from Tasmania I'd like to single out. We call her Mama Pa. Her name is Pam. She's my wife Ree's sister. And she looked after James for quite a number of years after school until we could pick him up. So she was a lovely lady and appreciate her. Okay, we'll start proper now. Bam! Hey! November the 22nd is a very important day in the history of mankind. Many of you will possibly remember that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. But on that same date, James S. Pettifer was born. And I think that's the most important of the two, personally, but James was a wanderer from the word go. Soon after being born, we moved house, about 3 days I think it was, to a new house we'd built south of Hobart. And we lived there for 2 years or so. And then I got a job as principal of a school on Yarra Creek on King Island. So up we moved. Little aeroplane, wife, son, me, ducks, cats, dogs, what they call those furry things used to run around. Guinea pigs. The plane was like Noah's Ark. Anyway, we got there and we only lasted there a year, but it was a great place to live. And then I was transferred to Methina in the northeast of Tasmania. Now James is beginning to grow. See how many houses he's lived already. We get to Methina. He's growing up, he's ready to go to school. And he's in kindergarten. And he ran the school, basically. I can remember one day, the kids came in after break, crocodile of kids, he was in front, remember, kindergarten, the kids went up to grade 6. Mind you, there were only 20 of them, but still. And he turned around and he said, shush, shush, there's the principal, which was me. But the other thing about James at Methina was he could read. He could read incredibly well. I can recall him reading the Australian newspaper when he was 4 years old on a school trip. Mind you, it was an article about Morecambe and Wise, but nevertheless. He went to Ree one day and he said, now look, I don't want to go into prep next year. I'm too good for that. I'm better than all that. And she said, well, I can't do anything about it. Talk to the principal. So he came to me and he said, I don't want to go into prep. I want to go into grade 1. Well, I said, I can't change the rules. The rules quite clearly state your age, that's where you're going. So he wrote to the superintendents. And the superintendents wrote back and said, well, I'm sorry, James. Yes, you read, you're very clever and all this sort of thing, but you're going in prep next year. Well, whether that was the move that made the move, I don't know. But Ree and James left Mathina and went down to live in Hobart again. And he was enrolled in Friends School. 1 week, and the phone went. This is the principal of Friends School. James is totally wasting his time in prep. Do you mind if he goes up to grade 1? School holidays didn't clash the same, and they finished earlier than we did. And Ree and James came up to Mathina before I went back to Hobart with them. It happened that the superintendents were visiting the school that week. Oh, hello, James. How? Nice to meet you. How are you? Very well, thank you, said James. Well, I'm in grade 1, you know. So he continued his life through Friends School and did exceptionally well, passing all the exams he needed to pass. He was offered a scholarship at University of Tasmania and then one at ANU. Now, one thing about this jump in grades meant that he was basically always the youngest in his classes through school. And he was only 16 when this offer came, and we thought it was a long, long way to go from home to Canberra to live. But it's too good an opportunity to miss. So off he went. He had another place to live. Went to ANU, got a good degree, became an actuary, went working in Sydney and Melbourne, and eventually settled in Melbourne at CGU. Now, the next thing we jump about 9 years, you will be pleased to hear, and it's his 30th birthday. And he says, I'm going to have a birthday party. Will you come over from Tasmania? We did. And this birthday party was in like a beer garden back of a hotel in Brunswick. And we were reintroduced to old school friends, to new uni friends, to CGU friends. And among the CGU friends, there was this little lady who very shyly, hello, and disappeared, sitting about 2 tables away. And I thought, hello, what's going on here? Now, items weren't allowed to CGU in those days, but as the time went by, it became so obvious to everybody, including the cleaners, that they were an item. And they became an item enough to share a flat together and to buy a house together. Now, we thought and still think that she's pretty good, and we like her very much, and we think she's smashing to be in our family now. Because I never got a daughter, and I always wanted a daughter. I didn't get one. So I've got one now, and it's lovely to have her. Alina is responsible for 3 notable things, I think it is. Might be 3, I might have forgotten one. They were all talking when I was practicing my speech, so I might have... One, she insisted that James learn to drive. Now, he was over 30. But not easy over 30 to learn to drive, particularly in Melbourne. But, of course, he passed. So that was 1. 2, she got him dancing. Well, you've seen a bit of that then, but you ain't seen nothing yet, because there's more to come. And the 3rd thing, well, we'll have to wait for the 3rd thing, because I'm getting very old and I haven't got long to wait for my grandchildren. So that's the next thing they've got to combine to get. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be a part of Alina's family. Thank you very much for bringing up such a lovely girl. Will you all rise and drink a toast to James and Alina? Thank you.